Hello and welcome back to the channel. So as you can see, my lips aren't moving, which means I'm actually narrating over this bit of video. We're currently on holiday in Turkey. I've put a video together for you guys which is Scape. Looking at these banana trees always reminds me of shrimp, and I needed to do an intro to this video. So quick look round where we are today, and the temperature here is sort of mid 30s, 33, 35 degrees. The video this week is a Scape video that I've shot over several weeks, so I hope you enjoy it. I'm not a professional scaper, I just enjoy doing the odd scape here and there. So with all that being said and done, let's get straight to the video. So the tank we're using is a Scaper 90. Used these before, they're really good, I really like them. They're a 90 litre, designed for scaping with a bit of depth. And the soil I'm using is tropica. I wish I'd have built it back up a little bit higher first. Aquascape soil spade. Start to place my first rock at the back. Realise I need a bit more height. Again, I wish I'd have gone a bit higher. I do lift these after the soil's in a bit later on. What I've also tried to do here is select the dragon stones that have got more of a reddish tinge. So they come in either red or yellow or a mixture of both. I've tried to keep everything along the red line. Quite difficult. I had about 40 kilo to deal with and select from. So I had selected the pieces that I wanted. The view that you're getting doesn't give you the height that it actually goes to. It's quite deceptive, but a bit later on I'll show you sort of how high we actually get with that. The idea of this scape came from a green aqua one that I watched, so it's similar to something that Balash did from Green Aqua, just with my take on it. I am actually washing stones as I'm using them, so where there's a bit of a pause, it's because I'm nipping to the sink to wash those. These are in the kitchen diner. This tank's in the kitchen diner. And the depth that I've put these stones at, I've banked this up so that you don't get rollback from the soil, or you try and eliminate rollback from the soil. I have in the past built a scape with stone, and I built that up on soil, and when I filled it with water it all sank. And what we're trying to achieve here is we're trying to bring all of these to sort of one point in the tank, what's referred to sometimes as the golden ratio. So it's a specific point in the tank that sort of gives you the depth and a good viewpoint, or a good, way of looking at the aquarium. There's actually a row at the back there that you can see me just building, and again this is to stop those high points in the soil rolling down. Obviously try different rocks at different points to give you a different effect, which is what I'm trying to do now. Just topping up everything now with soil and trying to sort of build the height and fill all the gaps between the rows of rock that I've created. Believe it or not, I use about 16 litres of soil in this tank and probably about 25 kilos of rock. So just using a paintbrush, a clean paintbrush, to just brush off the bits of soil that have dropped into the holes, which is quite difficult with dragonstone, but I do my best. And then here I'm just inserting a small piece of stone to stop the soil rolling between one of the layers. And then off camera I've added another stone on the bottom right. I also at a later point lift the top right stones up a little touch, so I just lift them and push them back down as the soil falls underneath them. And the side view will give you an idea of the height. It's about 35 to 40 degrees on that side, so it's very deceptive looking at it from the front, but if you sort of look at it from a top angle, you actually see a good bit of height here. So the plants we have for this are Eleacharis bacillis. They're tropica 1-2 grow pots. They're a slightly shorter version than Eleacharis acularis, and we're using the Aquavitro fine-tipped curved forceps to do the planting. We can get plants to order the Aquavitro range. We stock, there's a good wide range of that, from scissors, spring scissors, forceps, 45-degree forceps, saw spades, you know, curved scissors, straight scissors, and we do stock all of that on the website. So a quick look at the scape. We've still got loads of diatoms. I've battled a bit of blackbeard algae in here, hence the time taken to do it. And you can see a male epistogramma that looks a little beaten up. We'll come back to him. So I've decided to go with a large shoal of green neons, simulans here. We've got plenty of fish in here, lots of ottocinclus. My initial thoughts on this scape was to go with green caboti rasbora and ember tetras because I had a few left over from the previous tank. I've actually moved the simulans and added to those. We've got a few embers, we've got mini corridorus pygmaea, and we've also got obviously plenty of ottocinclus. I've just fed these, so there's lots of bits of food floating around, and you can see in the background there's a little bit of a Grecian urn, and I'll explain what that is as we go. There's also a GB shrimp lolly in there that I was trying out, and as you can see from the front, the plants are starting to root, and you can see there's diatoms in those. We've got a mano in here, and I recently added a load of horned nerite snails, and the reason I added horned nerites is because nerites try to get out, or they like to go walkabout, and the horned tend to stay in the tank. So you'll also see some chili rasbora in here, and from the original scape, the few rocks in the left hand side I've changed. I wanted a bit more dramatic in the scape. Obviously we've got our amanos, and these were from the original scape. And there's our nerite that's trying to get in focus, or one of our nerites. There's about 20 in here. And there's another nerite just having a bit of a munch on the glass. Here we have our chili rasbora. And we're back to this male epistogramma. So this is my second male. I moved a male from the original tank, and I got him a female. She settled in, she went into the Grecian urn. He just decided to stop eating, and I eventually lost him. So I got another male episto, and because the female had already built a territory, she beat him up. She gave him a right good kicking, as you can probably see from his face. So what I've done temporarily is I've taken her out of the tank and put her in a breeder box. I'll move the urn around, and we can see our little pygmy cory there. I've moved the urn around, and what I'm trying to do is break up her territory, or get her to forget her territory, so when she goes back in the tank, she goes back in and the male's already established. Plus it will give him time to sort of get used to the tank and make himself, you know, well again, and establish himself in the tank. So you can see the remnants here as well of the blackbeard that I treated with hydrogen peroxide, so that's sort of starting to die off. And how lovely do those green neons look under light. There's another one of our nerites. So this is the urn then. I will move it. This is on CO2 at the moment, but the plan is once the carpet's established, take that off the CO2. And then if we just scroll across, what I've done is I've put the female episto in this breeder box. She's feeding very well, to be fair. I put a bit of rock in for cover. And the long-term plan is to hopefully put those together once he's sort of healed. You can see from his head he's had a right good kicking off. They were actually lip-locked. And this is just a final view of the scape. I wish I'd built the back a bit higher, but it's getting there. It's by no means finished, and I still need to do my first trim, but I want to wait till it's all sort of grown in. So I'll probably do an update video on this. I wanted to get this video completed so that I've got content to give you guys while I'm away on holiday.